welcome back. Let's go straight over to my next guest. She is what they call an Epstein survivor, and she's a very impressive young woman. I saw her on the TV the other night. Welcome, Lisa Phillips. Hello, Lisa.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Before we get to your campaign, as it were, to get justice for yourself and the other victims, could you just quickly tell us your story? As I understand it, you were a model working in the Caribbean, and you were taken to what they now call Pedo Island, St. James's Island, where you met Epstein, and Epstein said to you something like, "Do you want to meet a prince?" Yeah. And you said, "Oh yeah, I'd like to meet a prince." And he took you to the swimming pool, and there was Prince Andrew. Tell us about what happened.
Well, you summed it up pretty good. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I was just a young model, went to the island. Another young model took me there, said, you know, this guy's wonderful. He got my visa to work in the United States.
You were doing a photo shoot on another island, weren't you?
Yes, another island.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of models do.
Yeah.
And we were both professional working models at that time in the early 2000s. And she had gotten her visa to work in the United States by this man, Epstein. And so she just said, you know, he was like a mentor and a good person. So I just went with her over to the island and just spent the day there, just hanging out there and playing in the pool and things like that. That's where you mentioned I saw the former Prince Andrew in the pool. I guess I have to say allegedly, because we've just checked flights and things, and I've spoken to Virginia Giuffre. So this is what I think it was, this man.
You know, I think we'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. So Andrew is there, but so you were having fun for a while, but events turned dark. Tell us what happened.
We were having fun. We were just enjoying the island, and I got to meet the other young girls there. And I was in my early 20s, same as the girl who brought me, but the girls that were there were underage. They were younger girls, just a couple years younger. And then we had a beautiful dinner, and that's when I met Epstein, and that's when he sat next to me, and he started asking me just a ton of questions about my life and my family life, my parents, my ambitions. And from there, it was just a few hours that we all hung out together. He spent most of his attention on me because I was the new girl. And then I had told him I grew up in Oxford, England for quite a few years as a child in Oxford. And so that kind of was like, oh, Oxford. You know, I have a lot of friends from there.
Right.
As we know. And so he was like, do you want to meet a prince? And at that moment, the prince was leaving the island. So he was saying goodbye to everybody, and I got to meet him.
Okay.
So that's always just stuck in my mind that, you know, I'd met a prince on the island. Didn't think that much about it. And then later on, just went to go to sleep in our room because it was nighttime now. We couldn't take the boat back to the other nearby island, so we stayed over. And in the night, before we went to bed, someone came to the door, one of the other young girls, and just said, you know, Jeffrey's ready for his massage. And we kind of argued about it because I didn't know that there was going to be a massage.
Yeah, exactly.
This older man. And I didn't know how to do a massage, and it just kind of freaked me out. But both the girls said, no, if Jeffrey said that he wants you to do it, you have to do it. And so I was just like, and I thought, okay, this was a really nice man that I met earlier. And he was, I don't know, kind of bonded to him a little bit because of the questions he asked me. And he made me feel so comfortable that I was just like, okay, well, I guess it can't be that bad. So I just went with the other girl who brought me. Yeah. Over to his room where he was laying, you know, with a towel around him naked on a massage table. And it was a real massage, you know, until it turned into a sexual assault.
So he sexually assaulted you and your friend?
Yes, he did. And then we ran out of there to our room and just like couldn't go to sleep that night until the boat came in the morning, and I just left the island. And that was the only time I had ever been on that island.
Well, that's a very harrowing story, Lisa. So glad you survived it. And you should be very proud about the way that you bravely publicised what happened to you, because this is a story that we need to know the truth about. Now, I heard you on the TV the other day. you didn't meet Peter Mandelson, but like the other men that Epstein gathered around him, like the then Prince Andrew, Mandelson, you believe that Mandelson will know a lot. He has a story to tell that has yet to come out, and he should do so.
Oh, he absolutely should do so, because the amount of time that he spent on the island and around Jeffrey Epstein, that he probably knows quite a bit, and he saw a lot. I'm not saying what he participated in. I mean, I think that the pictures and videos and things tell a good story, a good supporting story of what he was involved in. But from what I know, from knowing Jeffrey Epstein for those years, and for all my friends and and my survivor sisters that have known him, everybody knew what Jeffrey was into, what he loved, and who he had around him. Yeah. As you can see from the files, a lot of these billionaire men, bring your harem, bring the girls, don't forget the girls, don't forget the cuties. You know, they always knew that he had always young girls, either teenagers or young women that looked like teenagers. I mean, I definitely looked like a young girl at the time.
You still do, Lisa, you still do.
Thank you.
But
that's what his world was about.
So what you're saying, you went to that island, you were there for a day or so and a night, you saw what was going on. So the idea, Peter Mandelson said, well, I went there, but, you know, I'm a gay man, I didn't really know what was going on. What you're saying is it is impossible to go to that island without being fully aware of the full circumstances of what happened there, which was...
Well, I just think Mandelson should be very careful, because saying that you didn't participate in anything is very different from saying I didn't know what was going on. I believe it's impossible for him to not have known what was going on, because there was no way he was on that island without young girls being on that island. There were always girls on that island. Yeah. Whether they were in their early 20s, late teens, or teens, they were absolutely there. So to say that he didn't know what was going on, why are older men with younger girls, first of all? Yeah, and if he didn't participate in anything, he definitely saw other people participating.
So it's impossible.
He knew that.
Yeah, it's impossible to go to that island without knowing exactly what was going on, right?
I believe so. I believe, because everything about Epstein was about his fetishes and his perversion and sadism and all that stuff. That was a well-known thing from anyone that knew him.
What do you think of Epstein now? I mean, it's interesting what your story is. That at first he was very charming, and then later, I mean, he sort of turned into a sex fiend.
Yeah, he just had too much power and too many enablers, and too many of the men that wanted to hang around him enjoyed it, and it just was like their fun playground and their little dirty secret.
God.
And they thought it was going to be a secret forever. Nobody ever thought, 25 years, 30 years, however long it's been for them, that all this stuff would come out. I mean, I never thought I would be involved in this either, and I didn't even know back then as much as I know now. Not even just a little bit. And I'm still finding out new things every month. Not good stuff.
Do you believe, we all are, Lisa, do you believe that Peter Mandelson, and indeed the former Prince Andrew, now he's Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, that they should do the decent thing and testify to Congress?
Well, absolutely, of course. This is a very important topic, the most important topic, I think, of our lifetime. And we need answers, because it involves, minors and children. Yeah. And so this is a very important thing, as everyone has seen in the files. It's not like I'm just saying this and you're saying this. It is in the files for you to do your own research, that you could pretty much tell just by reading most things that there was a major perversion going on. We know that. And a trafficking ring.
So when you were there, obviously Andrew had been there, Prince Andrew. You said that you were introduced, you saw him in the pool. Did you have a conversation? Did he say anything to you?
No, I just met him briefly before he left.
Okay.
And I just remember, the prince. I didn't think anything of it for years, I didn't know that other girls were being even abused on the island at that time. When what happened to me, I thought it was just because of me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's usually how victims think. I didn't know, and nobody talked about it. And I've had many girlfriends during that era, that time frame, that were abused by him, but we never talked about it until he started getting in trouble after the Vanity Fair article came out in 2003.
Yeah.
Then people started talking about it. And I also had, you have to understand too, is that I only started speaking out in 2019, 2020 was because of Prince Andrew. As because what I saw on the island,
yeah, it all fell into place for you because of what happened to you. Lisa, listen, I'm so pleased you came on the show. Please come on again, and you're very brave, and you stay strong. Thank you so much. Lisa Phillips, the Epstein survivor. What a story.